Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Freedom Motorsport Alliance rolls into Road America for round 4 of the Monday Night GT3 series, presented by Mars Hardwood. 4 miles of iconic American asphalt stand between these drivers and 45 minutes of pure, unfiltered competition. The GT3 field is locked in and hungry. Machines built for speed, precision, and pressure. The towering run into turn 1 to the unforgiving kink and the charge toward Canada corner. Every lap demands commitment, every mistake invites chaos, and every overtake could define a championship. Tonight, Road America becomes the proving ground. The drivers bring the talent, the cars bring the thunder, and next chapter of the season is about to begin. This is round number 4. This is Racer Nexus. I'm Rob Campbell. In the booth with me, as usual, Richard Swindells. Rich, welcome to Road America, a track we both know well, and I believe it is definitely one of our top 3, I gotta say, for both of us, tracks in iRacing. I didn't want to just give it the top spot all by itself without confirming, but you know, it is the GOAT.
It is our favorite. I think one of the other top 3 might be something like the Nordschleife Nürburgring Grand Prix, but we're here at Road America, just outside of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And being in that nice location, it's only typical that we showed Travis Roberto in the Lamborghini when we got lots of Corvettes out there. But hey, what do you want? We're at definitely a favorite of Rob's and mine track. We both have very similar tastes in tracks, folks, and this is definitely my favorite. Road Atlanta is certainly up there. As a Canadian, my home track, Mosport. Love Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, but Road America's got it all. Kind of reminds me, Road Atlanta is also a fan favorite for a lot of people, but I think this is like Road Atlanta, but just more. And it's got a lot of elevation changes. You see Travis Roberto coming up here. You got some technical sections, high-speed sections, slow corners, fast corners, lots of chaos, the carousel. It's going to be a fun night, Rob.
Yeah, there's a reason we're on board with Travis Roberto, though, Rich. Travis Roberto and Mach 10 Motorsports are actually the sponsor of the race tonight, so Travis be looking to put on a nice showing here for the race that he's sponsoring, so we'll keep our eye on him. But let's take a look at the weather conditions. We have 64-degree air temp, 81-degree track temp, a little bit of clouds, no rain in the forecast, so should be a heck of a night here for racing at Road America. Rich?
Every night's a great night for racing at Road America. We're on board here looking at the Red Bull racing car of Rusty Johnson. I believe Rusty won last week in the Red Bull, but Red Bull driving the McLaren as we said last week. So let's see if he can pull off a two-peat here.
Yeah, I said it last week. Norris and Piastri rolling in their I almost said grave, but rolling around on their couch in their living room watching this, because no doubt they're watching this action.
I don't think Max is too happy either, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. That said, Rusty Johnson, as you mentioned, he might be rusty, but he was at the sharp end of the field last week, Rich. And right now he's going to move himself up into second spot with that qualifying time. So looking to be here competitive, but he's in behind our race sponsor, Travis Roberto, who, you know, for a race you're going to sponsor, what better spot to start than in top spot?
That's for sure. And we're not saying he paid his way for a little slower clock. You know, the clock speed's running about 9/10 of a second per second for him. But Travis has shown great pace last season and this season that we've covered. So we expect him up to be near the pointy end as we watch Chase Matsko here coming up the hill across the start finish line. Let's see where Chase Matsko is after this lap. Does he improve from 8th place?
He does. He's going to move up into 6th place. Yeah, so nice run there for Matsko. In 6th place, just behind Graham Jacobson, who just pulled off, and he's going to call it quits as far as his qualifying goes. We got a whole bunch of tankers leads in the field here tonight, Rich. We've got Uncle Zach. We've got James, who I think we found out during listening to the practice early on, his brother James. And then we have Madison, who we're not quite sure on the relationship here, but we have a trifecta of tankers leads looking to do battle at Road America.
Yeah, well, I guess Uncle Tank figuring if you got a podium last week, if you brought the whole crew, that maybe they'd get a lockout. So that remains to be seen, but nice to see the Tankers Leagues well represented here as we take a look at James. James driving a Corvette. So, James, you are welcome here. Big fan of Corvette, especially at Road America.
Yeah, I think Corvettes and Road America go hand in hand, right? So it'd be nice to see it. Actually, I was going to say we have got all the Tankers Leagues in Corvettes, but I'm looking here, Madison Tankers League in the Acura. So going against the family wishes here, driving an off-make from the Corvettes, Rich. But it looks like Corvettes might be strong as we've got Brock Morris. I believe this is his first race with FMA, currently sitting in 2nd place just behind Travis Roberto. He's going to move Rusty Johnson down 1 spot. So he's going to occupy 2nd spot. We'll see if Rusty Johnson can try and get ahead. He's just finished up his lap. Unfortunately for him, he improved, but still 1/10 behind Brock Morris. Actually, Brock Morris now jumping up into top spot. He's going to drop down our sponsor for the race, Travis Roberto, down 1 spot. And it looks like we have Maddie Tankers League, in chat saying she won't be racing tonight, but a Madison Tankers League Uncle Tank's wife. There we go. So we have confirmed.
Well, that's confirmed. We didn't want to guess on the relationship there, folks, because it could go horribly wrong. So, Madison, nice to have you out here. Hopefully, we see you out here racing real soon.
Absolutely. As you see Chase Matsko across the line, unable to improve on his position. He's going to be starting in, looks like 6th place, Anthony Bronco. With only about 35 seconds to go, realize he's not going to be able to pull it in to complete that lap. He's going to pull it off. Let's see where James Tankersley is here. Looks like he just finished up his lap, heading down into turn 3 right now, currently occupying 19th place. So keep an eye on him. We've got a couple of camera cars right now, neither one of them on track, but Kevin Schulman and Anthony Jenkins will both be providing us with some webcam coverage here tonight, so we'll get them up on the screen when we have a chance to do so. But qualifying now, with about 5 seconds left to go. Pretty much everybody going to be locked into where they're sitting right now, Rich.
Yeah, and it's nice round of qualifying. Brock Morris, the new driver here, up in first. So every week we've kind of had a different person had a little more pace than everybody else. We'll see if Brock Morris is going to be that person this week. As for the webcams, folks, instructions are in Discord. So if you would like to put your webcam on, please do. We're happy to show you. It's also going to get you some screen time guaranteed on the broadcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want to get extra chance of getting yourself on screen. That webcam always goes a long way. But we got a points championship, Rich. So while they're occupying a warm-up here, take a look and see how that is shaking out coming into week number 4. So we see Anthony Jenkins leading the way by virtue of 3 strong finishes so far. He is at 119 points. Brian Bean in 2nd place, 108 points. I don't see him on the roster here this evening, so Anthony Jenkins has a chance to open up that gap over Bean. Zach Tankersley occupying 3rd spot, only 3 points back of Bean, and then Chase Matsko another 4 points back of him. Nate Campbell at 99 points, 2 points back of Tankersley, and then Jay Davis just another 6 points back. Robert Milbreath only 3 points back in, so still close amongst the championship contenders here, Rich. Still anybody's game, I'd say, from about 9th, 7th, 8th place up.
Yeah, well, that's 3 weeks in, a nice close battle. That's what we want to see. And this league, FMA, has certainly provided the nice close racing that, that's what the drivers are here for. Everybody's out here to have a good time, good competition, but also clean racing. We've seen a lot of that so far this season.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I could probably say out of all the GT not series leagues that we cover. I guess this one's probably the cleanest. I think they actually pride themselves on having very clean standards. We've seen some penalties handed out just for simply violating the voice chat conduct in the races. They hold strict to their penalty system. And I think that's probably what you see complaints most in most leagues, Rich, is guys get frustrated with penalties being doled out that aren't really consistent from one week to the next and so forth. So.
No, that's I think a good thing. Everybody knows what's expected of them as drivers, so there's no excuses. Everybody knows the rules, and they enforce the rules. So there's no favorites played here at FMA. As we take a look at new driver here to FMA, or at least to us on FMA, Alexander Suzuka, him driving around here with a nice little livery on that Porsche.
And we've got, what do we got, about 2 minutes and 18 seconds left in the warm-up. And then we'll be able to take a look at the qualifying results. But while we do that, let's take a look and see at what we've got coming up as far as the rest of the season. Well, not the rest of the season, what we have coming up next week as far as tracks. So this week, we're at week 4 of 12. Road America is the site for this race, our usual 45-minute fixed setup race. I believe the drivers still have their one quick repair. There is talk about opening up the iRating cap for next season going forward and implementing different classes. So if you've been watching the series up to this point, you thought, you know, I'd really like to race with those guys, but maybe my iRating is just a little bit higher than what it normally would be. They're looking at potentially raising that, putting in a class system. We're going to have over or upwards of 30 plus cars here this evening, so plenty of racing and plenty of competition for basically every skill level to find somebody to battle with. But next week, we're going to head to another track that is a fan favorite amongst myself, and I believe I'm going to put this on to my co-part here in the booth, Richard Swindellis. I think he's a big fan of Zolder too as well.
Yeah, I like Zolder. It's been a while since I've raced on it, but it's always been a fun track, and I think that's also going to give us some good, exciting racing to commentate on as we take a look at James Tankersley. James battling against Uncle Tank for family honors tonight. Nice to see James making it out here and representing himself. James following along behind, I believe that's Robert Howard right ahead of him in the Mustang. So we got Mustang, we got Corvette warming up 1-2 here side by side, or right behind each other.
Yeah, can we see a Ford versus Chevy battle here tonight? Can we see a battle amongst Tankersley awesome. Family, Rich? But could possibly James take out brother Zach if they get side by side here? Who knows? We've seen stranger things happen amongst them. We've seen teammates take each other out. We wouldn't be surprised to see family members. Actually, I think we've seen family members in the past. I want to say the league we cover on Sundays and Tuesdays, Apex is. There used to be some brothers, Mason and Matthew Smotherman. This is going back years and years and years now. I think they actually took each other out in the middle of a race once upon a time. Not necessarily intentional, but it's always funny when it happens.
Yeah, always funny, and it's a good discussion around the Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner table. And it looks like warm-up is over, folks. So we're getting ready here for 45 minutes of action at Road America. We're just waiting for the grid to drop so we know who's where, and we can give you an announcement on that.
Yeah, we'll just give iRacing a second to reset the timing and scoring here, and then we should have the grid popping up right about now, Rich. Ooh. If I hit the right button here, but let's retry.
We got lots of time, Rob. They're doing a full pace lap here tonight, so
I think I got it this time. Row 1, we're going to find Brock Morris on pole with Travis Roberto, the race sponsor, to his outside, with Rusty Johnson and Mike Zacher in row 2. So a nice mix of cars up on 4 different cars in the top 2 rows. Brian Scott in 5th with Graham Jacobson in 6th. That's row 3. Row 4, we're going to find Chase Matsko in 7th with Anthony Bronco in 8th place. Rounding out the top 10 in row 5 is going to be Alexander Zugig in 9th and Gustavo Ferraro in 10th. Who we have in row 6, Rich?
Row 6 and 11th, we've got Jamie MacArthur. Beside him, we've got Justin Welch in 12th. Row 7, we've got Brandon Banks with Steven Zabster in 14th. Row 8, we've got Robert Milbrath with Dicio Lima beside him. Row 9, we've got Jody Nielsen with Chiao Girassi in 18th. And 19th place, we've got Marcus Monson with Bobby Watts in 20th.
In row 11, we're going to find James Tankersley in P21 with Robert Howard in 23rd, Adam Lowe in 23rd with Anthony Jenkins in 24th. That's row 12. Row 13, Jay Davis, Zach Tankersley. These are our end-of-line cars in row 13. In row 14, Sean Day in P27, Mark Ossier in P28. And row 15, Kevin Schulman and Curtis Kinecker. I'm going to go with that. In 30th place, row 16, like Michael Lemanchik and Madison Tankersley, but she let us know she will not be racing. And round out the field is going to be James Efaw and Joseph Spillman. That's 33rd and 34th place. So we're going to have 32, 33 cars on grid here tonight, Rich.
Yeah, that's a really impressive showing for FMA. I think this is the biggest field we've announced yet, Rob, or got to cover. No surprise, though. Look where we're at. Road America, baby. Here we go. We've got 45 minutes of action coming up here.
Absolutely. It's a fan favorite track for a reason. It's got a lot of overtaking opportunities. You got turn number 1, and then if you get a good run through turn 1, Rich, you can make a move in turn 3, turn 5 as well. Heading down the hill, always a great overtaking opportunity. Canada corner, so I'm going to say there's probably at least 4 good overtaking opportunities here at Road America, which is rare for a lot of tracks these days. You find a lot of tracks that it's more or less follow the leader. You really have to depend on qualifying and try and get a good finish, where Road America will let you kind of make up for maybe an ill qualifying showing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the drivers with the end-of-line penalties from last week fare now. Nice big track, lots of overtaking opportunities. Will that help them, or will the bigger field hurt them?
Well, we're going to find out soon. One of those drivers is Anthony Jenkins, who's been strong. I've actually seen him, this will be the second or third time we're going to see him start at the back for an end-of-line penalty, Rich, and try and make his way through the field. We saw how he did at, I think it was Nordschleife. He was very quick to move up through the field. That's a massively long track, so much shorter track here, Road America, but as far as GT3 racing goes, Road America, 4 miles long. It is a contest here.
Yeah, it's not the length of a Spa or Nordschleife, but it's definitely not one of the shorter tracks on the service. So we take a look on board with Anthony Jenkins. Anthony Jenkins all dressed up today. He's got the button-down shirt here, folks. Never know what we're going to get to see out of Anthony, but I expect to see some fast pace. So thanks a lot, Anthony. We appreciate you taking the opportunity and giving us a little webcam view.
He's all business tonight, Rich. All business.
All business.
As the field heading through turn 14 and 15, a couple more corners to go, and then we'll be firing this one up, Rich. 45 minutes of action here at Road America. We saw some interesting strategy last week as far as the pit stops go. We'll see if maybe some drivers try the undercut again this week, but Morris and Roberto lead them around behind the pace car. Pace car should be pulling off here shortly. We'll keep an eye on that, and then we'll be under the leader's control. There it goes. So we're waiting for that green flag. Then we get round 4 here of the FMA GT3 Championship presented by Mars Hardwood underway. And here we go, Rich. Green flag, and we're off.
And we're off. We got Brock Morris, Travis Roberto, 1-2. Travis Roberto on the outside. Brock Morris has the preferred position on the inside. It's a matter of who takes this corner well. Car's going 2 by 2 going down into turn 1 here, folks. Travis Roberto a little later on the brakes going around the outside. But oh no, that Brock Morris managing to hold on. A couple cars going a little wide. You usually expect that at Road America. Looks like everybody's getting through cleanly though thus far.
Yeah, Mike Zacher, the big, I don't want to say loser, but as far as positions lost there into turn 1, he was that Porsche that went off wide. Porsche that cost him a number of spots. Robert Milbrath, the Mercedes, he's around, not driving his usual very bright paint scheme here this evening, Rich. So We'll have to keep an eye on that, but it looks like Adam Lowe in behind him, that Ferrari already missing his rear wing. I'm not sure what happened to him, but that car heavily compromised. It is not driving well at all.
No, that's not the way you want to start, but unfortunately in FMA, they do have a fast repair available to get in the pits, get that quickly fixed. Travis Roberto up to the point now, though. Travis Roberto's got Brock Morris all in tow, so we've got 1-2 battling. Travis Roberto going to the outside, Brock Morris taking a peek on the inside, but nothing happening just here as they come up halfway through this, 3/4 of the way through this lap here.
And we got the picture-in-picture focusing on Anthony Jenkins. We see him making a move right now. That's going to be moving him up another spot. So that's 2 spots gained on lap number 1 for him. We'll keep checking in, see how he progresses through the field. Uncle Tank mixed in there too as well. He's actually got himself up into 22nd place. Already up 4 spots for Uncle Tank, Zach Tankersley. So race starting out well for him. And right now he's looking to chase down James Tankersley, only about 3 cars up ahead of him.
I don't think that pass on James is going to be as easy as maybe he's hoping it's going to be, but watch these cars coming down the straightaway, entering into Canada corner. Anthony Jenkins is on a charge, folks. Anthony Jenkins up 4 spots already, most of the way through the lap 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. He kind of blinked out there for a minute and then came back in and had gained like 2 or 3 spots. So I'm not really sure what happened there. That was kind of weird, but we'll keep it. Oh, there goes brother James off track. That's going to give Uncle Tank the family bragging rights now, moving himself up into 20th place in behind Anthony Jenkins. So 2 of our end-of-line cars moving swiftly through the field. They got Rusty Johnson just ahead of them, so all 3 of them nose to tail here, Rich. As you see Johnson looking into the inside of Cal Garassi, he's going to take that spot away. Or sorry, that's Marcus Monsoon taking that spot away from him. That's going to put him up into 17th place now.
Yeah, and that's one thing. These drivers coming up from the back are doing a great job of making some passes. We saw Bumper out there on the outside. We saw one of the cars coming back on track, but some of the drivers are realizing they don't have quite the pace maybe of some of these drivers. Letting them get by cleanly so they can tuck in behind, maybe gain an advantage that way, learn from how the fast guys are going, as we see Rusty Johnson throwing it up the inside, under braking, nice clean pass here. Rusty Johnson making up another position.
Yeah, I'm having a look at the windshield banner on that McLaren. It says race mode. Looks like he's got it in pass mode right now, Rich, as he's quickly making his way through the field. As you mentioned, he's got himself around Garassi. Next up is DCO Lima. We see him fairly competitive week in, week out with his teammate Gustavo Ferrero. We usually see them trying to work together on track, but unfortunately for Lima right now, Ferrero with 6 cars up ahead of him, he's going to have to try and defend Rusty Johnson all on his own.
Yeah, it makes it a difficult task. Rusty Johnson having a lot of pace. We're going to go up a little further up the field. Graham Jacobson is in 4th place, falling closely along behind Brian Scott. Brian Scott in that gorgeous Castro livery.
Yeah, we always love seeing a Castro livery on track, and right now I think it actually fits that McLaren really well with Brian Scott, but he's feeling a ton of pressure from Graham Jacobson right now in that Porsche. We got a couple fans cheering on Jacobson in the chat, so keep an eye on him. He's going to go off through the final corner. It's going to compromise his run down the front straight here to try and make a move on Jacobson into turn 1. So he's going to have to try and close that gap, Rich, and maybe make a move into turn 3 or coming down the hill into turn 5.
Yeah, those are the best passing opportunities, definitely. Follow along on board with Graham Jacobson in the Porsche. Graham Jacobson going into corner 1. Up on the curbs, you can use all the curbs and then some, get way out there. Just keeping it on track. Graham Jacobson applying pressure to Brian Scott. Brian Scott, though, holding his own quite well right now in the McLaren.
Yeah, Scott doing well, but we're going to pop the picture up here right now and focus on the 2 leaders. It looks like Roberto had got himself out to a little bit of a gap, but Brock Morris starting to reel him back in as we have a look at the battle for 3rd and 4th between Scott and Jacobson in the main screen. They're kind of working together here, Rich. Looks like they kind of tamed down the battling. So they realize if they work together, they might be able to reel back in. Morris and Roberto have a nice 4-car battle for top spot. Chase Matsko just a little bit farther back too as well. He's got Alexander Zugig with him, so we got a couple of 2-car packs, but Anthony Bronco in that Mustang trying to make it a 3-car battle here for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, it's nice seeing the nice little packs forming. Everybody's battling. You got a battle for the lead, you got a battle for 3rd place, you got a battle for 5th place. So, you know, a little bit of swapping of positions going on. Looks like while that's all going on, something may have happened to Robert Howard, but he's looks like he's had a little bit of an issue. So for the most part, most of the cars getting through cleanly here. Oh, take a look what happened, and just the back end came around. Car got off balance under braking, and fortunately no walls hit, so he just has to wait for an opening, get back on track.
And I just lost it coming into turn 3. It can be a challenging corner coming downhill. It's a little bit off camber, and Mustang, which is always a little bit tricky to handle to start with, it's really can get real snap happy on the rear end, and we just saw what happened there. But the battle's still going on here between Matsko, Zugig, and Barenko. We got another little battle here farther back. Jody Nielsen now is the driver just ahead of Rusty Johnson, but he's battling with Brandon Banks. A couple Porsches going at it here into turn 14, but Rusty Johnson catching up to them quick. He's going to make the move around Banks, now focusing on Nielsen. He's going to get enough of a run here to make a move into turn 1, Rich.
Well, that's what we're waiting to see. So right now we got Rusty Johnson following along right behind Jody Nielsen. Rusty Johnson going up the inside, Jody Nielsen on the outside. Rusty Johnson real late on the brakes, and that job is done. One more position gained right now for Rusty Johnson.
And quickly moving up through the field. We're only 7 minutes into this one, Rich, and he's already got himself up into 11th after starting back in, I think it was 27th, 28th, so nice run for him. But as he gets closer to the front, it's going to get a little harder to start moving through the rest of this field. Justin Welch now 2.2 seconds up ahead of him. It's going to be a little harder to get through him. Ferraro, MacArthur, those are all drivers we've seen fairly competitive from this season and the last half of last season that we covered. So no doubt his challenge is going to get a little harder. But Anthony Jenkins trying to follow him through. He's stalled out a little bit in behind Cal Garassi. So we'll see if Jenkins can try and find his way through now.
Yeah, Anthony's made a good charge. He's up 7 positions thus far. He's got a bunch more to go, and right now he's just looking for the opportunity for the next one. But Anthony Jenkins right now in 17th place. Uncle Tank right in behind him in 18th. So both cars moving up about the same pace.
Yeah, Uncle Tank right there showing some strong pace the last couple of weeks here, Rich. So see if he can hold it down again. It's going to be tough for either one of these drivers trying to get themselves up into a top 3 position to I guess it's a bit of a reward. You get the top 3 position, you get the end of line penalty for next race, but it's one of those win-win, lose-lose situations where you it's nice that you get in the points, but then you got to try and fight through the best of the field next time by to get some more points. As you see Uncle Tank trying to make the move around the outside of Jenkins, not able to do it. So we'll see if he can gather that back up and mount another charge.
Yeah, that's gonna I think a little bit of Uncle Tank and Jenkins battling, it's gonna slow down their pace and trying to make some advancements. They're battling each other, not worried about the guys up front. So right now that's gaps separated out a little bit. Maybe they're going to work a little bit more together to try and move up through the field.
Absolutely. They are mired in a pack here, so I'm having a look. So it looks like Jody Nelson, the first car in this pack in that purple, black, and pink Porsche. And then we got Brandon Banks, Stacey Olima, Steven Zabzer, Kyle Garassi, Anthony Jenkins, Zach Tankersley, and Marcus Monson, all in this pack of, what do we got, about 8 cars, 9 cars in that pack, Rich. So it's going to be tough for them to try and get through there.
Yeah, it's a lot of cars to try and meander your way through. Everybody's trying to move up to the front, where Travis Roberto is still doing a good job of holding off Brock Morris. Yet Graham Jacobson in 3rd on the podium. Graham Jacobson is kind of a little on an island of his own right now. So right now is the real battles are up front and in the mid pack. Travis Roberto and Brock Morris nose to tail put a little bit of a distance on Graham Jacobson at this stage, but Graham Jacobson's got himself a little bit gap to Brian Scott. So we're back on board with Brock Morris coming around. It looks like we just finished off the carousel. We're going to come up through the kink, going from memory here, Rob. The kink going to lead down to the straightaway. That leads for one of the better opportunities for passing Canada corner, but Brock Morris is going to have to get a little bit closer to do that, unless he's content right now just to hang on and increase that gap to 3rd place.
He could be going on a strategy here too as well, Rich, where we've seen a number of drivers content to drive in 2nd place in a league where you have to take a pit stop for fuel based on the fuel load that they're allowed to carry. All these drivers are going to have to come in and get a little splash of fuel. They don't necessarily need to take tires. Some of them will. They don't need to. They just need a splash of fuel. So Brock Morris could be just trying to save some fuel here, lifting, coasting a little bit in behind Roberto, using that draft so he can stay a little less time in his box and potentially leapfrog Roberto through the pit cycle. But Graham Jacobson, as you mentioned, in third place, is pulled away from Brian Scott, but Brian Scott now leading a 4-car pack, chase pack in behind here. I like to call him the peloton. Anybody who watches a lot of cycling or Tour de France know exactly what I'm talking there right now. So in this instance, Brian Scott leading the peloton, trying to chase down Jacobson, who in his own right, trying to chase down that duo up ahead. A little bit of a man on an island here is Graham Jacobson. Nobody really to work with, not getting the draft of the cars up ahead, and just basically a sit and duck if those 4 cars stay in formation in behind.
Yeah, well, third place is not a bad place to be. Something bad happens up front, you're right there. And nice little island as we watch it. A little bit of an incident. It looks like we've got a couple cars in the backfield going off. Lots of body work flying off. Not sure who was involved there, Rob, but that's not good.
Yeah, that's Jody Nielsen and DCO Lima. We'll take a look at what happened there in a moment, as both those cars heavily damaged. Lima definitely going to have to come in and get some repairs. Nielsen might be able to keep going, but that was a heavy contact, as you mentioned, Rich. We'll see if we can pick up what exactly happened there. Let's see, Jody Nielsen here heading into turn 1. Lima actually a couple spots behind him, so I think this might have been working its way out for a little bit here. Nielsen goes off track, himself back on track, heading into turn 3, and I think this is where it goes off, so I'm not sure if Nielsen goes off track again. They're a little wide. Oh, Lima threw it into turn 3. They came to blows, and then that secondary hit, they went off. There was a Mercedes involved there too as well. I'm not sure who that was. Potentially Adam Lowe, I think that was. No, he's in a Ferrari. I'm not sure which Mercedes that was. They got wrapped up in there too as well. It might have been Bill Brath. They got tied up there too as well. Nowhere to go, trying to avoid the wreck, and fortunately for him, he's going to lose his front bumper.
Yeah, Arrow's definitely compromised, but we're going to go back up to the front. On board with Live Racing, Travis Roberto coming around to complete, I believe, lap 5. So Travis Roberto's continuing to hold off Brock Morris. Right now, those 2 drivers, 1 and 2, and they've got about a 4.5-second gap to Graham Jacobson in behind them in third.
Yeah, they continue to open up that gap on Jacobson, but Brian Scott now broke away from that pack he was leading. He's now only 2 seconds back at Jacobson, so we'll see if maybe those 2 drivers can link up. If they can do that, they might be able to pull away from Matsko, Zugig, and Baranko in behind. Potentially chase down the leaders. Actually, you know what I think might be nobody ever likes to back up to the pack here, Rich, but I think if Jacobson were to allow those cars in behind him to catch up, they work together as a 5-car pack in the draft, they would easily be able to chase down Morris and Roberto that way. But if they continue to battle like they are in behind, they're just losing time here to the leaders, and that's exactly what the leaders love to see on the relative.
Yeah, well, if I'm Jacobson, I'm not backing up at all, because right now he's got himself over 2 seconds to the guys behind him, and there's not just one guy, there's 4 or 5. So, you know, if there's one guy, maybe, but when you've got 3 or 4 guys back there, backing up may just cost you 3 or 4 positions. I'd rather go forward and not backwards, and back it on board here. Alexander Zugig in 5th place. He's falling along behind Brian Scott with Chase Matsko and Anthony Baranka in behind them. So nice little pack here following up in the sharp end of the field here. A little more racing to go, though. We got 31 minutes. We're on lap 7 of about 22 laps is what I figure we should get in, Rob. 45 minutes of racing with a pit stop to come.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to back up to go forward, Rich, but the guy who's going forward there is Uncle Tank and Anthony Jenkins on the inlay. See them make up another couple spots. It's going to move them up into 11th and 12th now. They're knocking on the top 10 door, Rich, so if these cars up ahead continue to battle, they're going to be in that battle too as well now, sitting only about 3 seconds back at Jamie MacArthur. So if something were to happen up ahead, they'd quickly be in that battle.
That's my kind of racing, Rob. You just get yourself in a decent position. You may not have the pace to be with the leaders, but get yourself somewhere so if something happens, you're there to capitalize on it. And that's what these drivers are doing right now. We're looking at Chase Matsko. Chase Matsko in that beautiful livery here. Chase Matsko representing Aston Martin, and Chase Matsko in following Alexander Zugig right now, contented just to follow the leader. There's got the 3-car pack. Scott Bryan, Alexander Zugig, Chase Matsko nose to tail at this stage.
So it looks like something happened to James Tankersley early on, lap 3. Let's quickly go back here and see what happened to him. I think we just caught the tail end of it.
I did see that, Rob. I wasn't going to mention anything because I was trying to give James the benefit of the doubt for our first race here on Racer Nexus. Just a little spin, folks. Not much to see here. Let's fast forward and pretend we didn't see that, James.
It sounds like Rich is on the Tankersley payroll here, trying to get any incidents in the Tankersley family off of the broadcast. So we'll have to investigate his bank accounts here to see what kind of money is funneling in there. But as we head back up front,
you give me a raise, I don't get bribes, Rob. That's the way it is. But Travis Roberto up front, still battling with Brock Morris.
Yeah, Roberto's still leading the way in the race. He's sponsored, so it's basically the way it should be. I wonder if he planned that, Rich. Timed it so he wouldn't have the end-of-line penalty coming into this race. He could qualify, put himself up front for the race he and his team are sponsoring. I'm not sure if he calculated that Brock Morris would have a similar pace to him, though, and potentially Graham Jacobson, depending what kind of fuel saving he's potentially doing behind. Maybe in this pit stop, he saved a little bit of fuel and he can get up in there in that battle. But they're starting to deal with some lap traffic here as they got the Lamborghini just up ahead of him, I believe. That, actually, I'm not sure.
That's Adam Lowe there, Rob.
That is Adam Lowe up ahead of him. Thanks, Rich. In the Ferrari,
yeah,
that's Lamborghini. All the Italians are going to be angry at me.
That's okay, but Adam Lowe being very gracious, looks like pulling over to the side, letting Travis Roberto go, or is he? Looks like, yes, he is. That's good sportsmanship there from Adam Lowe, realizing these are the leaders coming up and graciously moving over. Let the battles continue as we watch three cars. Pick a lane, folks. Any lane. Three cars going in. Brian Scott in fifth. Zugig Alexander now up to fourth. And Anthony Barranco in sixth. Anthony Barranco poking the nose in. The Castro kind of caught in between the sandwich, or the meat and the sandwich. But Anthony Barranco looking to move up now, take advantage of Brian Scott, who lost that one position to Alexander Zugig.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we're not seeing a little more top-end pace out of the Mustang. Generally, and the McLaren too as well. Generally, the McLaren and Mustang, the quickest cars in the straight line, the GT3 category, where the Porsche usually suffers a little bit. Its specialty is the twisty sections. And you get onto the high-paced straight line areas of the track, and they usually lose out a little bit. The legs starts to chuffing, breathing heavy air at the top of the RPM range. But it looks like right now, Alexander Zugig holding his own against Scott and Barranco. We also see Graham Jacobson doing some good work in that Porsche too as well. So maybe I'm wrong here, Rich. Maybe it's changed for this season.
Well, I believe they're also running open setup, so you can trim that out how you wish. Take a little bit of the top end off so you've got a little better cornering. We're going to go back on board, though. Anthony Jenkins, we haven't talked to him about him for a few laps. Anthony Jenkins now up 14 positions, folks. He's on a charge. Anthony Jenkins is. He podiumed last week from the back. He's looking to do it back to back. Is that possible? We shall see. But Anthony Jenkins on a charge. But you know who else is right up ahead of him? Uncle Tank. He's up 17 positions. So, man, these guys are moving fast, Rob.
Yeah, they've got themselves into the top 10 now, Rich. How far can they go? We've still got, we're not even quite at the halfway mark of the race. So, as you mentioned, they'll be able to get up 17 and 14 positions respectively. But as we said before, you get to the sharp end of the field and it gets a little tougher. Rusty Johnson, the other end of line penalty server here, is just up ahead of them in 7th place. I should say up ahead, but he's about 8 seconds down the track. So Rusty Johnson trying to look a little towards the sharp end of the field. He's got Anthony Barranco and that battle between Scott, Barranco, and Zugig. About 5 seconds up the track, so he has some work to do for him here to try and get himself up into the top 5. I think top 3 this week is out of the question for Rusty Johnson, but I say that you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we definitely don't, but we say all that about being up 14 positions. I'm not sure how many positions that Rusty Johnson is up. Our timing scoring doesn't quite give us that information because he did set a qualifying time, so he's up a tremendous amount, though. If those guys are at 14, he's got to be up 18, 19, 20 positions. So we're going to go back up to the front, though, where the leaders are. The leaders have been since the beginning of this race. We've got Roberto Travis making that pass early on lap 1, still holding off Brock Morris. 1 and 2 are battling hard. They've got themselves about 7 seconds over Graham Jacobson in 3rd right now. So if they keep this pace up, those guys coming from the back have no chance, I don't think, Rob. Travis Roberto, Brock Morris putting on a show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at our quickest laps here. So Brock Morris holding the fastest lap of the race, 203.83. Roberto not too far back, only 5/100 separating those two drivers. Graham Jacobson about a little more than half a second back too as well. Rusty Johnson. It shows exactly why he's been able to move up through the field. 2:04.55, our fourth quickest lap of the race. So shows us why those drivers are towards the sharp end of the field, Rich, and we'll keep an eye on that. Alexander Zugig do as well. First race in the league for him, showing some strong pace in fourth place.
And Travis Roberto throwing a little fake to the pits on Brock Morris. Brock not having any of that. He's following along right in behind. These drivers, I'd expect to see them probably pit at the same time. Alexander Zugig, though, he says, enough of this. I'm coming to the pits now. Let's get some fuel and get prepared for the second half of this race.
Yeah, it might be a wise move for him. He was feeling the pressure from Brian Scott and Anthony Barranco, so pull into the pits, try and relieve a little of that pressure. Maybe you can find yourself some clean air on track when you come back out, put in some hot laps, and for all you know, maybe he jumps ahead of them once it cycles through. But we'll keep an eye on that as it's going on. But we've got a few more drivers coming in. Anthony Jenkins coming in for his service too as well. Garassi coming into the pits. So a few more drivers opting to go for the undercut as we head to the middle part of the race.
Yeah, we're on lap 11, projected 22, 45-minute race. We got just over 21 and a half minutes left, folks, or thereabouts. So, sorry, 23 minutes left. So we're almost at the halfway point. People are coming in pits. They've got about 3 or 4 laps, I believe, Rob, maybe a little more. Where that window is open. So we got some people coming in early. We'll have some people coming in on the last possible lap. It's all a matter of personal preference, how things are going, how you're feeling, where you think you should be on board here. Taking a look at Marcus Amundsen coming around in 10th place. Ferraro Gustavo in 11th in behind. So Marcus, I don't believe we've seen Marcus before, Rob. He's up 9 positions on the day. He's up to 10th place with a couple of the pitters. So having a good race thus far. Robert Milbrath, I believe we saw him off track a little bit earlier. He's recovered quite nicely. He's up to 12th in the plain, it looks like gunmetal gray livery of the Merc.
Yeah, we just saw Monson made a mistake heading into turn. I believe that's 8. Went a little wide, and Milbrath didn't have to be asked twice to take that position away, so he can move himself up into 11th place. But I was keeping an eye on the inlay as we see Brock Morris coming in for his service. But into Canada corner, Travis Roberto, our leader, went a little wide. He got out in the gravel. It cost him a little bit of time. So we saw Morris pop in. He's going to try the undercut. So we'll keep an eye on where he cycles back through. But I think if I remember correctly from weeks past, Rich, they can only go maybe just after the halfway point on the amount of fuel load they're taking. So I suspect to see Roberto, Jacobson, Scott, and Branco in the next time by.
Yeah, and then we will see where everybody cycles out, folks. What's going to happen for the last 20 minutes of this race once everybody gets their pit stop done. But here's Chase Matsko. Chase Matsko sitting there in the 19th place, following along behind Anthony Jenkins. Both drivers getting their service done. Chase Matsko, Anthony Jenkins battling side by side. Chase Matsko trying to go around the outside around Canada corner. Anthony Jenkins holding on the inside line. Now Chase Matsko is going to have the inside line for the next corner. Side by side, Anthony Jenkins going to have to tuck it in behind here. If he doesn't do that right now, that's going to let Jamie MacArthur close right back up on them.
Yeah, it looks like Matsko was able to use the grunt of that Aston getting out of the corner. A little better torque load getting out of that corner. He's able to accelerate a little quicker than the Porsche. Where Jenkins having to rely a little bit on the twisty nature of the Porsche to try and stay with him. So we'll see if he makes a move into turn 1 here. But right now it looks like Matsko going to be able to hold him off. Still waiting for pit stops from a majority of our top 9 drivers, looks like. So we'll keep an eye on them. I suspect next time by, I said it last time, but there's no way they can go any further. I just did the calculations, and if my math is math and Rich, they're coming in next time.
Oh no. Oh no. we got the abacus out here, folks, and we're doing our best calculations with Chase Matsko having himself a good race thus far. He's got his pit stop done. Anthony Jenkins, Jamie MacArthur behind him. Here he comes. Math is math, and the abacus worked right. Travis Roberto into the pits.
And when you use your fingers and toes, it all works out, Rich. Graham Jacobson going to come into as well. And I suspect we'll see Barranco and Scott. Yeah, the rest of the field is going to come in for their service too as well. So we'll keep an eye now on Brock Morris. We'll see where he cycles through. He's heading into Canada corner now. Roberto in his stall. Not quite yet. Still heading down pit lane to get to his stall there. He's in his stall now, getting service. Morris was in his stall for 16, almost 17 seconds total pit stop time, 57 seconds on and off pit road. So he's heading down the front straight now. Roberto still in his stall. Welsh heading out. Sorry, not Welsh. Brock Morris heading down the front stall. I think he's going to take top spot away from Travis Roberto. Roberto coming out of the pit stop now, but he's going to have cold tires. He's not going to be up to pace. He will get ahead, but I think Brock Morris might be able to take that spot away with the ability of having those hot tires, Rich. We'll see. It's going to be close. Justin Welsh, our only driver, didn't come in that time by. He saved a little fuel for one more lap. This could be interesting here, Rich. He might have the slowest time in his stall, but that fuel saving he's been doing might have cost him.
Yeah, we shall see. But Travis Roberto doing a good job. He got out ahead of Brock Morris. I think you're wrong. He's holding him off quite well. Not only that, he's also got a little bit of draft behind Curtis Kliniker, trying to read the pronunciation and garbling it all up. But Travis Roberto, as long as he doesn't get held up here, got himself a little bit of a gap, and now he's going to put a car in between himself and Brock Morris in second. Brock Morris giving him the razzle dazzle, getting let by quite cleanly. So back to back, here we go. We've got the battle for the lead, or the I guess lead that will be happening, because right now Justin Welsh has the lead. He has not pit yet.
Yeah, I'm having a look at the pit stop times. Brock Morris must have had a terrible outlap, Rich, because Travis Roberto, cone-to-cone time, 58.22 seconds to Morris's 56.95. So Morris was, almost 2 seconds quicker on and off pit road, but still came out behind Roberto after the cycles went through. So I'm not sure if he got tied up in traffic or what, but Travis Roberto capitalizing on that mistake, get himself back out front. Graham Jacobson, he's going to occupy third place. Justin Welsh into the pits cycles now, so once they all head down the front straight, they'll regain those positions. He's sitting comfortably 6 seconds up on Anthony Bronco, who was able to leapfrog Scott and Zukic through pit strategy.
Yeah, pit strategy can certainly make a difference to being able to get it on and off pit road quicker than your opponents. It certainly makes a big factor in the racing. Alexander Zukic, 7th place now, falling on behind Brian Scott in the Castro car. All that going on. Travis Roberto, Brock Morris up front, about 9/10 of a second apart from each other right now. But Alexander Zukic having himself a good battle here with Brian Scott and Justin Welsh, and now into the pits. Managed to nurse that car all the way around for that extra lap. He's exiting now. Everybody's done their cycles.
Yeah, everybody's back into their positions. Take a look at the inlay. We got that battle for top spot. Hold steady about 9/10. More starting to close that down a little bit. We'll keep an eye on it. Still plenty of time for him to try and chase down Roberto. Again, Roberto wanting to win this race that he and his team have sponsored. He'd hate to lead the majority of the race and then lose it towards the back end, but this battle between Zukic and Scott isn't going away. Zukic putting a ton of pressure on the back of Brian Scott. This is for 5th and 6th place, so final spot in the top 5 up for grabs here amongst these two. But as they battle, Rusty Johnson lurking not too far back. He's got himself up into 7th now, Rich. I thought he wouldn't have any chance at a top 3, but he's inching ever so closely. Still, he's about, what do we got, about 12 seconds back of Graham Jacobson, so he would still need a catastrophic issue to happen for Graham Jacobson to get himself into the top 3, but firmly into the top 5 or 6 is now the question right now for Rusty Johnson.
Yeah, and that's nothing to be ashamed about. We've only got about 8 laps left after this lap, so not a lot of time to make some advances. But up at the front, Rob, the battle is closing in quite a lot. Brock Morris, and now gaining back a lot of that time he lost after the pit cycles. He's closing in right close to Travis Roberto. So they've been close most of the race, but you got to get by. Travis Roberto made that move early on lap 1 and has held that position all the way up till now. So right now, as an aside, folks, both of them have the exact same best lap time of a 2:03.47. So they've got very similar pace, obviously. It's just a matter of who's going to cross the finish line ahead of the other.
Yeah, now we'll see whether Morris was saving fuel in behind Roberto, lifting and coasting. Now he's got should have enough fuel load to get himself to the end of the race, Rich. No need to save its full throttle as much as possible. So we'll see if he announces a charge. But let's take a look at our end of line drivers. Rusty Johnson was mentioned up into 7th place. Zach Tankersley, though, right in there behind him in 8th place. He's only sitting about 4 seconds back of him. Anthony Jenkins got himself up into 10th place. So all 3 of our end of line penalty servers got himself up into the top 10. Potentially we could see a battle here between Johnson and Tankersley.
Well, we had one earlier. Uncle Tank managed to get by Jenkins, but right now watch Zachary Tankersley getting right by. It looks like almost led by a little late braking there on the Mustang in behind. I believe that may be a lap car, if I'm not mistaken, Rob.
Yeah, it was Robert Howard that was letting Uncle Tank through. Thank you to him. But that battle still spicy up front. 4/10 separating these two drivers. Roberto still holding on. The battle between Zugig and Scott still raging away, only half a second between them. So a couple battles here in top 5 positions, Rich. It's going to come down to the line as we're getting close to about 10 minutes to go. Just under 15 minutes left in this one. 13 and a half minutes to go. That's going to be, what are they doing, about 2 minutes? That's roughly about 6, maybe 7 laps, depending when they cross the line here. Rich, what's your calculator letting us know?
Well, my abacus, I've got all 10 of my fingers and 10 of my toes doing some calculations, folks. They're crossing. Looks like they're just about to start lap at 16. I predict they're going to go to 22 laps here tonight. So Travis Roberto doing a little bit of defensive driving now against Brock Morris. Now realizing that Brock Morris is starting to apply a little bit more pressure. As the laps wind down, it's a matter of where do you want to be. Brock Morris got to get that move done. He's got about 6 laps left to do, or just under 6 laps. So time is going to be soon when Brock is going to start applying the pressure. We can see he's getting all over the back as coming down the long straightaway. Let's see what happens here. Does Brock Morris make a move to the inside? Does Travis Roberto go defensive? Brock Morris sticks the nose in, then he goes real wide, gives him a little bit of fake, trying to get a little better exit. Right now, he's going to have to be content to just hold on to second.
Yeah, Morris trying to force a mistake by Roberto right now. We've seen Roberto drop the tire off in the grass and the dirt a couple times. It's something you couldn't do, let me say, about 2 years ago before they altered the grass and dirt, Rich, where they'd be playing with fire. You'd have a quick snap of the rear end around. You see Morris doing the same thing here, but thankfully iRacing fixed that up, and you can really abuse the track limits off into the grass and the dirt. But Morris putting a ton of pressure right now on the back of Roberto. We'll see how long Roberto can sustain that pressure. He's got just over 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, Roberto's proved himself to be a worthy competitor in all the races we've covered of FMA. But Brock Morris coming down the long straightaway here, about to enter Canada Corner. He's going around the outside. It's a matter of who's going to break later. Side by side through Canada Corner, no, and it looks like managed to get it tucked back in. Travis Roberto holds him off for now, but how long can he continue to do so?
Yeah, he's shown us he's been able to do it right now. Hopefully things don't come to a blow, because this battle has been going on since the drop of the green flag. I'd love to see it come right down to the checkered flag, so keep an eye on that. Let's go a little farther back in the field here as Matsko, Jenkins, and Walsh are battling it out. It's for 9th, 10th, and 11th. Jenkins going to move around Howard, the lap car. Matsko going to follow him through. Welsh 1.7 seconds up there. He's been able to open up that gap as they had to navigate through the lap traffic. Focus back on Zugig and Scott. Zugig able to get around Scott, but unable to run away from him. Bronco now sitting comfortable in 4th place. He's opened up a nice gap over those 2 cars. Jacobson sitting about 9 seconds ahead of them, 10 seconds back of 1st and 2nd place battle. So basically he's in easy street here right now. Rich doesn't really need to push it. He's got a nice comfortable gap between that lead battle in 4th and 5th. So comfortable 3rd step on the podium for Graham Jacobson.
Yeah, it's you're not having the most exciting time when you're sitting with a gap like that, but it certainly is the most comfortable driving experience. You've got a podium locked up as long as you don't, put it into the fence. So, meanwhile, Travis Roberto continuing to hold off Brock Morris ever since that pass on lap 1. We're now on lap 17, folks, and Brock Morris is applying all kinds of pressure. Travis Roberto hasn't blinked yet. They're going around the carousel as we take a look here. He's going to set up another passing opportunity once we get to the end of this straightaway. They got to go through the kink first, though. These cars are pretty much flat out at this stage, holding on. We've got Travis Roberto, Brock Morris, 1-2 with a big gap of 10 seconds to third, and Graham Jacobson. Brock Morris trying to try the outside again on Travis Roberto. Travis Roberto preferring the inside line. Right now, it looks like this is the closest they've been yet. Almost coming to touch. Looks like Brock Morris has got the inside and the preferred line entering the next corner. That's going to put Travis Roberto on the inside entering the final corner, but oh my goodness gracious, Rob, look how close these guys are. Travis Roberto inside, holding up Brock Morris on the outside for now. These guys are going to go side by side up the hill, crossing the start-finish line.
Yeah, you can't ask for much better of a battle there than that, Rich. So we'll see who's going to win the late-breaking battle here into turn one. Roberto on the inside, Morris on the outside. Here they come. Lamborghini versus Corvette. Looks like Morris going to back out. He'll let Roberto hold on to that spot, but 8.5 minutes to go. That's going to be 3.5, four more laps here, Rich. It's going to come down to the line between these two. Nice, clean racing. Hats off to both these cars. They could have wrecked each other out a number of times in that last lap, specifically through Canada Corner. So well done by both those drivers. Morris going to have to regroup, try and mount another charge here. Roberto going to try and make that Lamborghini as wide as he possibly can. Head down into turn 5. Morris trying the long way around.
Yeah, I'll try the long ring around, but just I think set himself up for a good exit, because knowing that opportunity was not the best passing opportunity. I think at this stage of the game, Brock Morris knows his best opportunity is going to be at Canada Corner after the long straightaway. He got close the first time. He got side by side and a little ahead the second time, wasn't able to hold on to it. Let's see what happens the third time as they're coming up here, about to enter the carousel. After they exit the carousel, that's going to set it up. It's all about here. How does Travis Roberto manage to exit the carousel? How does Brock Morris manage to exit the carousel? Now it's a matter of drafting, taking maximum advantage here of the draft, taking that kink just right, not going too wide, keeping that foot to the floor. Right now, it looks like Brock Morris might be a little bit further behind than he was previous lap. Right now, I think he's going to sit where he is. Oh, a little bit getting close there, but nothing happening. Right now, Travis Roberto continuing to hold off Brock Morris. Looks like he's going to have to wait one more lap, but we're running out of laps, folks.
Yeah, you only have so many one more laps, Rich, before you have no more laps. Lead car, where you want to be, generally on a track like Road America, where you get a ton of draft down the front straight, and then you got the middle straight as well as the kink. A lot of overtaking opportunities here with the draft. Surprising that Corvette just doesn't quite seem to have the all-out raw pace that the Lamborghini has. As you mentioned, maybe Roberto running a little more trimmed out, less downforce car than Morris is in the Corvette, but they're going to keep battling as it goes on here.
Yeah, it's not really fair, though. I mean, Travis Roberto's got 2 extra cylinders, and he's the race sponsor, so Brock Morris has got double stacked against him. We're going to go on the inlay, looking at a little bit of the battles going a little bit further back. Now, we still got a nice 4-car train here. So we look at Rusty Johnson continuing to move himself up. He's in the middle of Brian Scott, Anthony Barranco, Uncle Tank's kind of a little behind all of these guys, but man, oh man, Rusty Johnson trying to get a move done on Brian Scott. Nothing happening there. Got back up front, coming up the hill, halfway through the track, we've got Roberto Travis still holding off Brock Morris. Brock Morris going a little bit wider than he wanted to there up on the dirt. He's going to have to get back in tight now, though, because they're going to about coming up in another corner to the carousel, and that's going to set up his next best passing opportunity. A little too far back right now, unless Travis Roberto makes a mistake.
Yeah, Brock Morris losing about half a second with that off track there, but looks like the Corvette works through this section a little better than the Lamborghini. He's able to close that back down. Took another couple tenths off as they head through the kink and into Canada Corner. I don't think he's going to get enough of a run here to make a move, Rich, but I think his best opportunity here might be to stay tucked in behind Roberto, go through Canada Corner, turn 13, 14, get a good exit out of the final corner, make the run down the front straight, make the move into turn 1. That's your best opportunity here to do that. We'll see if he's able to do it, but we've seen Roberto has been the king of defense here this evening. He's been able to fend off everything that Morris has thrown at him to this point. Has Morris got any more tricks up his sleeve? Here's time winding down.
Yeah, I think you make a good point, Rob. It's a really matter. He's tried, 3 times in the Canada Corner. That hasn't worked yet. Maybe turn 1 is the spot. If not turn 1, maybe in turn 5 after that other long downhill straight. Right now, Brock Morris way too far behind in order to make any moves. So Brock Morris right now is falling a little bit behind Travis Roberto. He's about 4 tenths, but he's got to get that gap closed down. He's not going to be able to make a move into turn 4, I don't think, unless things change and he starts getting a little bit closer. Might have to try Canada Corner again, but we're going to go back a little bit further in the field, see what other action we got going on. Rob, oh, never mind. We're just passing a lap car. I was a little mystified, but we're going to go back up here. We got Brian Scott now. Brian Scott having himself a good battle. You know, Anthony Barenko in behind them. We got Rusty Johnson. So these 3 cars have had a good battle for the last couple of laps. Another 4-car train here. Man, oh man, we're 41 minutes into this race. Still battling hard at the top, in the middle, towards the back of the field. Everybody's having a good race. Travis Roberto still holding up. Brock Morris, though, man, Rob, I think I've got 20 laps. I've predicted 22 or so on my calculator. Just a couple more laps to go for Travis Roberto to hold this off. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you see them coming around the carousel now, heading towards the kink. Is Roberto going to be able to hold off another charge from Morris? Is Morris going to be close enough to mount a charge into Canada Corner? They should be 2 more laps here once they cross the line. They should have a little over 3 minutes to go. They'll give them 2 more laps. They cross the line here, Rich. So getting down to the nitty-gritty. Morris showing the nose. Roberto not biting on that. He's seen that move a number of times from Morris. Focusing out the windshield. Exactly what he needs to do. Leave those mirrors in your back of your mind.
Yeah, and that's hard to do, but Travis Roberto, I mean, just look at the concentration. We show you the driver profile pic there, folks. Travis Roberto using all the track and then some, a little bit of the dirt. Is that the opportunity that Brock Morris needs? I don't know. Not the best exit for Roberto, but Morris now starting to close that gap up a little bit, apply a little bit of pressure, but I don't think he's close enough to get anything done here into turn 1. I see that he sticks the nose out, but just opening up that corner, tucking in behind Travis Roberto, I really think he's got to get a good exit up this next couple of corners here, Rob. Try and make a move really soon because we're running out of opportunities.
Yeah, I think right now, if I was Brock Morris, I'm trying to size up where my best overtaking opportunity is here for the last lap. You don't necessarily, on the last lap, you don't necessarily want to make the move into turn 1. You should leave the opportunity for the driver you just passed to make a move around you here, heading down into turn 5. So I think in the last lap, you want to kind of be ahead here, making that move into turn 5, get yourself up in the top spot, and then trying to defend into Canada Corner. It's easier to defend through Canada Corner because it's not quite a straight line. You got the twisty nature of it, where you can kind of make your car a little wider than you can on the front straight or that mid straight, Rich. So if it was me, that's the play I'd be looking for. But we see here Morris looking to the inside, going to try and force a move. Or sorry, the outside, going to try and force a move around Roberto. Roberto not allowing it, though. Into the carousel they go.
Yeah, you know, Brock Morris is doing everything in his power, applying all kinds of pressure to Travis Roberto. But thus far, folks, we're on lap 21. Travis Roberto has not succumbed. Travis Roberto continuing to hold off Brock Morris. Brock Morris has had many opportunities. He's been side by side, even had the nose ahead, but not able to maintain position. Right now, we got Travis Roberto continuing to hold off Brock Morris. Brock Morris sticking the nose around the outside Canada Corner. Not really the opportunity there, but he's just got to keep applying that pressure. Get it close, get a great exit. He's just got to get a better exit than Travis, because Travis has proven you're not going to beat him under the braking, so you got to beat him on the corner exit.
Here we go. They're going to pick up the white flag this time by here as they head up the hill for the final time. See them crest over the hill to pick up the white flag, and then we'll be wrapping things up here. 1 lap to go. Morris tries the crossover, went to the inside. Roberto defended that, forcing him around the outside into lap 1, or lap 1, turn 1, sorry. Morris trying to go the long way around. Roberto holding tight on the inside. He's going to put himself on the inside for turn number 3. This is it. This is where Morris is going to have to set him up for. He needs the exit here out of turn 3 to get the run down the middle stretch to try and make a move into turn 5. This is going to be his last real great opportunity. Canada Corner, as I mentioned, really easy to defend. Well, I shouldn't say easy. One of the easier areas to defend are the great overtaking opportunities. So this is it. Morris really needs to make the move here if he wants a chance to win this one.
Yeah, he tries to go the inside, but Travis Roberto covering that off. Going around the outside. Now Brock Morris get a good jump. Is he going to be able to break? He's up the inside of Travis Roberto. They're going to go side by side contact. It looks like we had a little bit of contact. Brooke Morris wisely and nicely, great sportsmanship, allowing Travis Roberto to get the lead. Look at this, folks. Let's put Graham Jacobson back into play. Graham Jacobson, lots of fans out watching live tonight. Must be pleased to see him sitting up in third place. That's going to put him in a little battle with Brock Morris. Roberto Travis in first. Brock Morris second. Now we've got Graham Jacobson right up there in third. He's been in the catbird seat all race long. Just have to be there in case something happens up ahead, and something did happen. So 1, 2, 3, folks. Nose to tail, last lap.
Yeah, here they go. Roberto looking like he's comfortably up ahead now, 6/10. I was going to mention halfway through last lap that the effect of the battling could do, where Jacobson was about 12 seconds back at one point in time. Then when these two started a battle, he had that gap down to just over 7.5 seconds. So unfortunately, he was running out of time. But here we go, heading to the line. Roberto leading the way, and Morris in the meeting the sandwich here in the middle. He's going to have to try and fend off Jacobson. Roberto needs an excellent exit out of the final corner here. Looks like he's going to get it. They're going to go status quo here. Oh, no. Incident point penalty potentially for Brock Morris. Into the pits he goes. That's going to promote Jacobson up into second place. So from out of nowhere, Rich, he's going to pick up one more step on the podium here for Graham Jacobson. Brock Morris going to come home in third in pit lane, but potentially could see a post-race penalty if that's for incident points there.
Brock Morris got a black flag, had to come into the pits. We're going to go back on board, watch the rest of the finishers. Brian Scott, 7th. Tankersley, 8th. We've got some battling still going on as they're going into Canada corner. Robert Milbrath sending in hard, going off the track. That's going to cost him a position, and now that's going to allow Steven Zabster to get right up on the back. Just a couple of corners left, folks. Yeah, we call this race right to the end. We've got racing up and down the field. Zabster having himself a good battle with Milbrath. They're coming around the last corner. Milbrath using all the track and then some. We've got a driver off. It looks like Leticio Lima, and managing to hold off is Milbrath holding off Zabster.
Yeah, absolutely. Last lap battle there as we see J.R. Davis. He's going to battle with James Tankersley here on the last lap too as well. That's for 23rd, 24th place. A couple drivers who have had races to forget about here this evening, Rich, but into Canada corner they go. James Tankersley trying to hold off the advances of Jay Davis. The battle of the Jays here for 23rd and 24th, Chevrolet versus Porsche. We'll see if Davis can try and find a way through the final corner to take that spot away. James Tankersley going to try and hold it true for the Tankersley family here. Zach got himself into 8th. James holding down 23rd. Oh, Jay Davis going to go off wide through the final corner. That should all but seal it for James Tankersley to bring in 23rd place.
Yeah, but that's been a nice battle, and that's why you wanted league racing, folks. FMA league racing, 23rd, 24th, 45 minutes of racing, battling right to the finish line. Great excitement up and down the field tonight, Rob. My goodness, and the sportsmanship displayed by Brock Morris with that incident with Travis Roberto and other things that we saw tonight. Kudos to the league and kudos to the drivers for great sportsmanship, great hard racing, good clean racing.
Absolutely. We see there Travis Roberto brings home the win, 8/10 ahead of Graham Jacobson. Alexander Suga going to take advantage of that black flag on the last lap for incident points for Brock Morris to come home with the final step on the podium. Anthony Barranco in 4th with Rusty Johnson rounding out the top 5. So nice run from him from his end of line penalty. Brian Scott in 6th. Zach Tankersley, Uncle Tank in 7th. Anthony Jenkins in 8th. Justin Welsh in 9th. And Brock Morris going to fall down to 10th after serving that penalty. MacArthur in 11th with Garassi, Branks, Milbrath, Zabziter, Matsko, Day, and Lemanzik rounding out your top 18 drivers.
Yeah, but we had more than that, folks. 19th, Gustavo Ferraro. Then we had Jody Nielsen in 20th. Mark Osier in 21st. Marcus Monson in 22nd. The other Tankersley, James Tankersley, 23rd. Jay Davis, 24th. Adam Lowe, 24th. And we have Decio Lima, 26th. Robert Howard, also a lap down, 27th. Bobby Watts, 2 laps down in 28th. 29th, we have Curtis Kienecker, 3 laps down. Kevin Schulman, 8 laps down. A little bit of used car parking lot in 31st. Mike Zacher. And then the rest of the cars did not take the starting line.
Yeah, unfortunately, not seeing the checker flag for them. But we're going to finish up with 24 cars on the lead lap, Rich, after starting with, I think, with 32 hit the grid. It's a nice number of cars to see at the end, but let's see if we can pull in our race winner here. Is Travis Roberto in the chat? He is there. Let's bring in our race winner, Travis Roberto, to chat with Richard Swindells.
Hey,
how's it going, guys?
Travis.
Wow.
It's going great. How are you doing? That was some intense racing. You made that pass on lap 1 on Brock, and man, then you guys just battled for 45 minutes.
Yeah, that sucked. That was too much work. I could tell probably by 15, 20 minutes out that I was going to end up having to defend. The car just didn't feel like it was sustaining its pace. And my Delta wasn't terrible, but I could see he was strong, and that car just didn't seem to fade. So I knew probably with 8 to 10 laps to go that I was just going to have to try to fight and hold the position because I couldn't beat him with pace.
Yeah, well, we were noticing for the first half of the race, it looked like he was content to sit there, and you guys obviously were pulling away from the pack. Incidentally, you both had the exact same best lap time according to my timing and scoring. So the pace was there. He got it alongside you with about 3 or 4 laps to go, going through just after Canada Corner. You guys battled hard for 5 or 6 corners. You managed to hold off. Little last lap contact, great sportsmanship. Nice to see you back on top, Travis.
Yeah, it's been a crappy couple weeks. It's just been a rough for every league. I don't know what it is, just a string of bad luck, but I'm happy with it. I mean, Brock did an incredible job. He was super fast, and in reality, he could have clearly just drove away. You know, he didn't have to stop. So it's a win, but it's a win with an asterisk a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Well, I just think it was a good sportsmanship. It kept the stewards out of things, and overall, a great race. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out tonight?
Just the Mach 10 Motorsport Group, yourselves for the broadcast, and of course the FMA League, as always, doing a great job. I appreciate their effort.
Well, we appreciate you sponsoring tonight, and what a nice way to get a victory on the night you guys are sponsoring. So we'll see you next week.
Yep, have a good one. Thanks, guys.
That was Travis Roberto, our race winner. So we got chat wanting to talk to Graham Jacobson. Unfortunately, I don't see him in the Discord, so we can't have a chat with him. But who else do we got in here? Looks like Brock Morris is in there. Let's bring him in to see you. Let's bring Brock Morris in here to find out what exactly happened there at the end. Brock, do you have us in the booth?
Yes, I do. How you guys doing?
Excellent. Yourself. Excellent race there from start to finish between you and Travis Roberto. Looks like you got a black flag for potentially incident points at the end there. Is that what you popped into the pits for?
Yeah, from that contact in that one left-hander, which I felt pretty bad about. I haven't really gone back and seen if that was my fault. If it was, I feel bad about that, and that's why I pulled over to the side and let him go back past, because, you know, I don't want to race people that way. I don't want to get raced that way. So, yeah, unfortunately, it was a black flag.
So I believe, if I'm correct, this was your first race in the league with us. Are we going to see you next week when we head to, oh man, I can't remember where we're heading to next week, but next week, it's Zolder, Circuit Zolder. Are we going to see you on track again as we head over to Europe?
Yeah, so I plan to come back next week. School's starting back up, you know how that is, but I've run some races with these guys before in the GT3 cars, but it's been a minute. I've been running their supercar series lately, so, but yeah, you can plan to see me at Zolder.
Excellent stuff. Well, before we let you go here, Brock, anybody you want to shout out there in the Nether Sphere watching this race?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Kettering Esports, Revved Up Racing, Corn Dog Designs, and I see in your chat there Paul Jacobson is watching, and if Paul, if you're still watching, hey, how's it going? And yeah, I look forward to racing next week at Zolder, trying to keep it a bit cleaner potentially than this week.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck to you next week, Brock. Hopefully we see you battling up at the sharp end of the field again. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Yeah,
and I'm looking. It looks like
what school's like.
It looks like we just had Graham Jacobson pop into the Discord chat here. We'll see if we can bring him in for his fan club to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Graham, congratulations. 2nd place tonight.
Hey, thank you, man.
You had a lonely race for most of the race, sitting 3rd with, nobody ahead of you. You know, they're fairly far ahead of you. Nobody really close behind you. What were you thinking? You must have been in a little bit of shock when all of a sudden the leaders were right there and attainable.
Yeah, I was getting a little comfortable in my seat, starting to sweat a little bit. But I was coming up on the hill and I saw the yellow flag, and I was like, oh, there's no way they did it on the last lap. And then, I saw them up ahead, and the Porsche, especially at Road America, just doesn't have very good straight line speed. So I didn't really think I had much of a chance, especially, with only a couple corners left. But then Brock got the drive through, so I was able to sneak up into second on the last lap there.
Yeah, it was. You certainly have a big fan club out here tonight. Always nice to have some support. Anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout out to tonight, Graham?
Just the whole FMA League, for putting on a show tonight. It was a great race, really big numbers, and it's a great league to run in and very competitive, and I can't wait to see what's in the future with this league.
We look forward to. We going to see you at Zolder next week?
Hopefully. I might be running the Daytona special event, but I'll see what I can do.
All right. Well, congratulations once again. Great drive. Third place the whole race. Managed to come home in second. So Graham Jacobson in the booth here. We will see him next week, hopefully.
All right. Thank you, man.
That was our second place finisher, Graham Jacobson. His fan club in the chat, loving that one, Rich. But that should pretty much wrap things up here for this evening. But before we go, we'll just give a quick little shout out to our patrons of FMA: Sage Greco, Ron Matthews, Matt Mars, Ben Parson, Justin Welch. It's with their help that puts on these broadcasts, so thank you to them. And then also we have our usual sponsors, Apex Sim Racing. Get yourself 5% discount. You find that code in the description of the video. 5% off anything in store, from their own accessories to Sim Magic, Simmoza, SimiCube, basically anything you need to get yourself into sim racing, they have there. And then all of your cameras have been brought to you tonight by TrackCams 22, TrackCams for Gourmets. So we thank you to them too as well. Again, next week we'll catch you at Zolder. Much different track than what we saw here tonight at Road America. Tighter confines, a whole lot of chicanes. We're going to see a lot of drivers leapfrogging chicanes next week at Zolder, Rich.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Man, I don't think we can top tonight's race, Rob. We've called a lot of races together, and that was certainly a lot of excitement for that battle for first place.
Absolutely. So we'll catch you next week, same time, same place. We'll catch you for another 45 minutes of action. It's been Racer Nexus for myself, Rob Campbell, and Richard Swindell is in the booth with me. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
And good night.